We are here in the studio, and we've got a very special guest today. Cindy, thank you so much for coming in. Cynthia Frado is here, minister from the First Parish of Northfield, Unitarian Minister Emerita, UU Congregational Society of Westboro, and Director of the Hampshire Hypnotherapy Center. Thank you so much for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure for me to come and talk to you about something I'm passionate about.
Yes. I mentioned this morning that hypnotherapy might be useful post-op, kind of helping people get through through pain issues, and I'm sure in so many other situations as well. But why don't we start by having you talk a little bit about yourself?
Well, I got my divinity degree from Harvard University about 23 years ago, and I went into parish ministry. But I always had a great interest in spirituality and healing. So I studied with Dr. Herbert Benson at the Mind Body Institute through Harvard at the New England Deaconess Hospital. Later on, I went on to work for Dr. Deepak Chopra. I managed his international study groups, wrote a lot of meditations and study guides, and it was all about healing on many different levels. I later, I practiced Buddhism. I studied with Thich Nhat Hanh. I also had an opportunity to work with Dr. Brian Weiss in past life regression therapy. So over the years, I've added layers to my experience, but what really drew me to hypnotherapy was actually what you were talking about this morning, Rick. I had a lot of parishioners who were having surgery at different hospitals in Boston. I was a parish minister in Westboro. I once saw a nurse do a hypnotherapy session with someone who was prepping for surgery in an adjacent bed to one of my parishioners. And I was amazed at how it so totally calmed and centered that person. And by visiting my parishioner, I got to see some follow-up, and I saw that by listening to hypnotherapy tapes, this person recovered very quickly from their surgery. So I was curious about that. I did a lot of study, a lot of research, and eventually I found a program at Winchester Hospital. It's the first hospital in the country to have a 100-hour certification program in clinical hypnotherapy. So I took it as something to add to my skill set so I could help parishioners who were facing medical crises, preparing for surgery, healing from surgery. I ended up working with people who had cancer, who were diabetic, who were afraid of needles. And the more I did it, the more I started realizing that there are so many applications for hypnotherapy besides the medical. And so I also discovered that when people would come with an issue for counseling, that very often the presenting issue is not really the cause. That there are things underneath that people have not dealt with, and that when you use hypnotherapy and you get beneath the layers, you can do some profound healing.
I'm sorry. I did want to ask, and this is fascinating because Herbert Benson, kind of whole body, kind of mind-body healing, is really a pioneer in the field. I think within the medical field.
Yes, he is.
In the field in general, but in the medical field as well. And Deepak Chopra, I mean, I've read a number of his books, and I just found his the Ayurvedic approach to health and well-being just phenomenal.